What's up, everyone? Coming live to you. Look at the smile on this guy. Coming live to you from Reston National. To give you some context, everyone knows Meesagh is my original work wife. Oh my gosh, golf wife. I'll put the text message like right here showing how he hit me up. This is his first round in how long? 6 months?
6 months.
Since he's had beautiful little
Isla.
I always say Ayla, that's why I was like, shit. V, don't kill me. Anyway, we're going to do, for the first 9 holes, we're going to do, I can't go against them. We're going to play on the same team. We're going to see how low can we go for 9 holes. And I'm also curious to see, how does a handicap get affected by a newborn kid? Meesagh is playing to a 13. I think he gets 17 strokes. So basically he needs to play to about a 43, 44 to play to his handicap. I'll do all the math, throw it on the screen. Let's go low, and then we're going to play a match against these two bums. That's Katie and Anthony on the back 9.
Generous.
So stay tuned, enjoy. Meesagh, we're back, baby.
We're back, baby!
So we are officially back, Team M&M, Mark and Mees. We are playing one of our local tracks, Reston National. As you all may or may not know, we're from the streets of Reston, you know, and this is located just down the road from South Lakes High School, which is where we both went to. And just a reminder, that little graphic on the right-hand side with the new kind of layout of the hole, that white line does not indicate my actual drive. It's just the default settings. I think the Grint, which is what I steal it from, the default setting is just middle fairway, middle green. Although my drive was actually kind of bombed and pretty close to what it was saying. So we're only 2 shots in, but I'm actually very impressed with what I've seen so far. Remember, this is literally his first round in 6 months. Yes, he's gone to the range a few times, but you know, his driver wasn't perfect, but he hit it solid. And then that approach was actually hit really good. The wind kind of just took it over. But, you know, scoring is one thing and ball striking is another. Oh, God, Mark, shut up, dude. Don't curse him. Of course, the bladed chip comes right on cue as I was giving him kudos. But if I remember correctly, this is actually a really good approach. Take a look at that. But when we were debriefing prior to the round, I think we talked about how taking a long break off short game is usually the first thing to go. So those little green side chips, putting in particular. So let's see how he does around there, because as much as the score will matter for this 9 holes, I'm really more curious to see how his ball striking and in particular short game will be. So that's the bigger thing that I think we're going to keep an eye on. And there's a missed little 5-footer. For what it's worth, and I think this is now a routine in every video I say, total amount of time spent on the putting green prior to the round, 0 minutes, and it shows. That's a good old 3-jack for your boy. So we are officially +1 with my bogey as a team. So Meesagh's 2 over, I'm 1 over. Not the best start, but you know what? Plenty of golf ahead of us. And here's what I'm talking about. Really, really good drive. There was actually wind swirling. I think it was in our face this hole, so I think he was trying to play a draw. He naturally hits a draw anyway now, but this is a shorter par 5. Because of the wind, don't know if we can reach in 2. AKA, we're actually just not long hitters, but I'm going to blame the wind. But we actually have pretty good drives in the sense of it's in play. Obviously, we're not middle fairway, but I'm right rough, he's left rough. And this is a shot that I'm really proud of. I needed to play a punch cut, and I hit it so good. I hit my line, and I think I catch like the one lonely branch that I needed to clear, and unfortunately it drops down. The good news is it drops middle fairway, so I still have a great look at an approach. And then this is Meesagh's, I mean, guys, remember, 6 months off, and he's playing baby draws down the middle, 200 yards with a 5-iron. His 5-iron's the best club in his bag. You're going to learn that. And here's where my approach ended. So luckily, it's a short par 5. I still had 145, I believe, in, take an 8-iron, and I think it was too much club. I was in between 8 and 9. Because of the wind, I chose a little more club. And then here it is, right on cue. I mentioned how the short game is usually the first thing to go. That's a heavy chunky chip. But then he recovers really nicely here with an approach shot that puts him, I think that's like 6 feet. So awesome recovery. So you can see that the 8-iron was probably a little bit too much club. It ran long, but I'm completely okay putting from the fringe. And while the scorecard, and I think I used the Grint, while it won't say that this is a 3-putt, because that's, technically I'm putting from the fringe, this is something that I've really, really been struggling with. My putter usually has been my best club, and now I'm just 3-jack city. That is back-to-back 3 putts, not looking great. So I really need Meesagh to make this par to save our team, because going 2 over through 2 as a team, there it is. Nice putt, buddy. So we are officially 1 over. We take Meesagh's par with Team M&M. So here we have his shorter par 3. He was playing like 160, 165 today. And shout out Casey Holm. This is the first time I saw a hole-in-one in person. He took an 8-iron, roughly the same distance, I think, and he aced it. So I think in my mind that stood with me. I should have played 7-iron. I don't hit it as far as him, but I took the 8 because I wanted to be like Casey. And obviously it sucked. I am now in the bunker, but you know what? We're up and down all day from there. And take a look at this shot. Meesagh, wow. I think the camera angle was a little off, but that was a slight baby draw that was just short of the green. You're actually going to see him. I think it's a rapid fire coming right here. You'll see he has a little short side, green side chip on. I think he takes a 60-degree, flops it on very, very nicely. I think that ends up less than a foot. We give it to him. I think it might have even lipped out. So very, very good shot for him. And again, shout out to someone who's taken 6 months off. Their short game maybe he's coming alive now. That was the thing we're worried about, but he looked super solid there. And man, I really need this. If I go 3 putts to start, I think I might just go straight to the parking lot and go home. But thank God, I think we settled down. And it's funny, I'm thinking to myself, I think the first 2 greens were basically my calibrating and getting a feel for the greens. Oh, shocker, Mark. You should have taken the 5 minutes before the round to do that. Yeah. And here's another shot. This was one of the straightest drives I've ever seen. I think from my angle, the movement on it was like 0.001 to the left. I think it was a slight draw, but that was also into the wind. He hit it really good. Super impressed again. Ball striking is there so far, and it's funny. I think I made a cocky comment to him like, don't worry, man, I'll carry the team for us because I know you haven't played in a while. I've been playing every day. So far, we've taken 2 of Meesagh's pars out of the 3 holes, so he is literally carrying my fat ass on his big, broad, manly shoulders. And look at that. That was his 5-iron. I know I said that it's his best club, and you can see it's just a nice, tight baby draw. I think he was too far out, but I loved his logic there where I think if he took like a 5-wood or 3-wood or whatever his next club was, it's so inconsistent, he'd rather take his safety club with a 5-iron, get it short, or at least up and down distance, which he does. And as you saw there was a marshal coming. Not sure if he was going to talk to me about filming, so I stopped filming, but I end up ending with a par. Meesagh takes a tap-in bogey, so we are still 1 over through 3. We are through 4, and we're rolling. And off the tee, he is just destroying it. Another tight baby draw, middle of the fairway. And they're not going as far as he used to hit them, and that's just going to be natural when you take 6 months off. I think, he used to be able to hit it really, really good, 250, 260. He was out driving me for a certain period of time. And yes, I'm not a long hitter, but I had Meesagh at around 260, maybe even 265 sometimes. Today, I think he was only hitting it maybe 240-ish, 250. But if you're going to have tight baby draws down the middle, I don't think he's going to complain. And that'll come back naturally when his swing gets smoother and gets his routine back. But that was his shocker. That was his 5-iron where he had a little tight baby draw to the left. And for those who've played Reston National, there's actually a creek. I don't know if you could see it in the video, but you have to lay up. Going for it's really tough. You have to shot shape it in. And then this was, I think he wants this shot back. I think he was like 95 yards, and he pull hooked it left. It just goes back to earlier where short game is usually one of the things that goes. And right on cue, this is actually one of my best wedge shots. I had to flop it over a bunker. I believe I had 65, 70 yards. And it's okay to go long from where I was because you want to clear the bunker and it's a big green. And then here's Meesagh's approach to try and recover from where he was. And he ends up, I think he struck it good. It just missed long and right, so he's in the other bunker. I quickly missed his out, but you could see the end results of he did get it out and onto the green. And all this scrambling, oh, Meesagh, buddy, hit the weight room. You can't leave that short, but that's a double bogey for me, so you just can't blade and hit the chips around the green. Again, that'll come back over time. And then I thought I hit a really, really good putt. And one thing about Reston, I don't know if you'll see it in the next few holes or if you've seen it so far, some of the pin placements and I think Reston plays to like a 130, 135 slope, and it's not difficult in terms of elevation or crazy bunkers, but it's definitely the greens. Some of the greens on here are just insane. This is actually one of them too, depending where it's placed. And to toot my own horn for a second, this is personally one of my favorite shots of the day, or at least the front 9. And that's because we had a 180 pin and I was in between clubs, a 5-iron and a 6. I decided to a 6, talked myself into it, and I committed, and I hit the exact line in the visual that I was thinking of. So it really is true in terms of visualizing your shots, the shape, and seeing it happen. And I was just really proud that it actually worked and I executed. So this might be a good angle. Look right there at the green, if you can see how sloped it was. It doesn't show it here, but I mentioned that because take a look at Meesagh's chip. He executes what I actually probably would have told him to do. He lets it sit soft and it should funnel and roll down. For some reason it doesn't. I actually thought that was a really, really good chip. And now I have an uphill putt where it might not look like it on camera, but I put a lot of mustard on that and it just ended up barely past. So it was actually a very, very good putt, but point being is these slopes, and you can see here, take a look at him. He barely tapped that thing and look where it ended up. We end up giving it to him since I'm in for a par, but let's just go ahead and move on. And for this upcoming hole, you're going to see it's, I'd say, a dogleg left, and it requires a draw. This is my driver of the day. I told myself, let's go ahead and shot shape this fairway, and I hit a low slinger baby draw that ends up rolling. I think I end up rolling it to about 125, 130 out. I think I was pitching wedge in, and this is probably the best drive that I've ever had. And unfortunately, I end up missing Meesagh's drive. The timing is hilarious because he actually ends up going OB left. I think he was also trying to hit a draw and probably snap hooked it a little too much. We decided to just let him drop next to me to save time and move it on. And again, I think we were 125, 130 out. He hits it really, really solid, just pulls it left so he can get up and down. I tried to learn from that because the wind was swirling, so I end up going at the pin. I also pull it. Maybe it's the wind, maybe it's not us, Can't be us. It's impossible. So yeah, we're going to blame the wind that's what pushed it to the left. And here's Meesagh's approach. I think he used a 60 degree, which is one of his favorite clubs. He plays a higher trajectory, higher... I don't want to call it a flop shot, but it's funny because I do the exact opposite. I'm a low kind of bump and run control guy, so it's funny how the two of us are exact opposites, but hey, just get it on the green. I actually think he hit a really good shot. It ended up checking a little too much where it left him with like a 10, 12 footer. Luckily, I had about 7, 8 feet and we had the same line, so in theory, I should be able to drain this since he showed me the way. And of course, we don't hit it. We actually left it short. That is so bad. I definitely think I'm starting to get the putter yips. I'm overthinking it. My pace is off. I think my takeaway is starting to get off, and I need to just get back to a zone of being comfortable. And take a look at Meesagh's drive here. It looks like a mishit, and it's right. It's actually a really, really good shot. You're going to see me try and take a similar line. You can see on the GPS little course map there, the hole is to the right. So the more right you are, you shave off a lot of yards. I mean, the downside or the trade-off is that you're in the rough. And you'll see in a second, we're probably a little too far right. It introduces these trees if you're too far on the right, but we both end up trying to get cute and say, hey, let's just go ahead and play a fade around these trees onto the green. So Meesagh does play a fade. He ends up being super right rough. And I also play a fade that ends up... Luckily, I catch the bunker. I guess maybe lucky or unlucky, but yeah, that's us trying to be cute. It's what we get for trying to be little divas out here on the course. Just play smart golf. Put it on the fairway. Put it on the green. And this is Meesagh's one of his better chips. I don't know if you saw his lie. I don't know if he could even take a full backswing, but and here's my sand out. Luckily, I do get out with that huge lip. That's all I could think of, that big lip in front of me. I was thinking, just get it up, get it up. It could be a lot better. This leaves me with like 25 feet, maybe 30 feet for par. And I talked about the putter yips. I actually hit a really, really good lag putt here. I end up taking that for bogey. I think I was probably 2 feet or less, but here's Meesagh. He can save this hole for us if he can just drop in this par. And I hope he's just better than me. Just don't leave it short. Whatever you do, just get it there. And he does. But he ends up pulling it left. So we go good, we go bogey. And so Team M&M is +3. We're leaking a little bit. We can't have these bogeys. Let's try and finish strong with 2 holes left. Right on cue. Not a shocker. Meesagh's driver, with the exception of that one hook OB left, has been fantastic. He's right fairway, and you actually want to cheat it to the right. So I get so cocky here. You can see those two trees. I say I'm going to try to take those two trees, hit it over. It's another one of those things where the more right you are, and oh gosh, when it rains, it pours. That is a one-way ticket to Shank City, and now we're just in recovery mode. I decided to just take an iron and punch it out. I actually punch it really well, a little too well, where it runs longer than what I wanted. Luckily, I stay right outside of the bunker. But here's Meesagh's second shot. I think he had like 150-ish in. He was right next to the stick. Not sure what he's playing. He hits it so solid, but as you can tell from today, his misses are a pull hook. Nothing like a few rounds and more driving range sessions can't fix, but again, for the first round in a long time, that's crazy how good his ball striking is. And I end up with a flop shot onto the green. There's the short game kind of coming into play. So I think he hits into the bunker. I think I miss his bunker out where it ends up to where he's standing right now. And good Lord, Mark, hit the ball. I end up leaving that short. I think I take that for double, but that is just terrible. So Team M&M, we end up +5, not the greatest, but you know what? We can play better. And more importantly, I'm really impressed with Meesagh. He played pretty close to his handicap, and I know there's some stat that people only play to their handicap like 25% of the time, but still fun overall, and stay tuned for part 2 with our match play.